Hello everybody, welcome back to FiddleUP. I'm Emerald Ray, and today we're going to be talking about how to go on tour the fun way. Which I feel like this video title is a little bit sneaky because what I'm going to say is probably not what you were thinking. I think, when you think back to the good old days of rock and roll, I feel like that's what everybody thinks musicians are like on tour all the time, and some of them are, granted. There can be a lot of partying on the road for sure. But that's actually not what I'm going to recommend. I think that, touring is tough and you want to make sure you maintain your energy. And I'm not saying don't party. Oh my gosh, definitely party when you can for sure. But, if you're maintaining your energy levels over a whole weekend, a whole week, many weeks, many months, um, you're going to have to make sure that what you're doing is sustainable. And, obviously, things like eating a lot of junk food, maybe drinking too much alcohol, all those kind of things really catch up with you very, very quickly. So I'm going to recommend some things so that you can keep your mood up and keep your energy levels up, and you can actually have fun on the road. Because let's be honest, touring is hard on everyone, and it doesn't matter how much you love touring, it absolutely beats the heck out of you. It's really hard. It's very overstimulating. Like you're in the car going to a new town, meeting new people every day. You're sleeping in a different bed every night. It's a lot to just take in. There's so much going on. It's a very long day of traveling, and then you get to the gig, and you have the whole sound check and all this stuff. But by the time you get to the gig, you're like, oh, can I go to bed now? And then you have to play a gig, which is going to burn another whole day's worth of energy before you go to sleep. And then, you might be so wound up after the gig that you can't go to sleep for a really long time. That happens to people as well. And then you have to get up early and go to the next place the next day. So touring is for everyone, is exhausting, even though it's really fun. So even if you are just going off for a gig here, you're going on a long distance gig somewhere, or you're going out for a couple days or a whole weekend or something like that, even if it's only a few days, you want to make sure to pace yourself, because the important thing is that you want to play a good gig. Like you don't want to be shredded for the gig, even though you're going to get your adrenaline up and all that stuff. Things are you're gonna be struggling to remember things. You're gonna be struggling to concentrate. If you're a singer like me, you're gonna be struggling to sing, which I feel like, honestly, personally, I spent so much time being a dancer and a fiddle player, and segueing over to having to be like a really prissy vocalist and going to bed on time. All that stuff was really hard, actually. It was like, I feel like it took away all of my fun to become a singer, having to rely on being the featured singer. That's like, your voice is so sensitive to everything. So what I have noticed over my years of touring, both by myself and in bands, that the people who take really good care of their health, who get a little exercise every day, and who make sure they're sleeping okay, do much better on tour, and are actually like energized and happy at the end of the tour, rather than the people who drink too much, eat the bad stuff, and stay up all night. Those people are grouchy by the second week. Like, like you just, it really affects your mood so much to not take care of those things. So, if you're playing in a band that wants to stop at every fast food restaurant, you wouldn't believe the stuff that goes on. So, I'm going to list out what I think are the three important things to make sure are really high on health. Let's put it that way. Not to be a nutrition nerd, even though I am a nutrition nerd. I feel like the first thing is food. for sure. You want to make sure that you're getting a balance of nutrition, which is extremely difficult on the road. You're eating in restaurants all the time, you're eating takeout, you're stopping at gas stations for lunch, no joke, on long rides, and musicians getting out of the van can be like herding cats to get them back in. So sometimes it's better to just not let anybody out of the van. So it depends on the situation, but the most important thing is make sure you're eating as much healthy food as you possibly can. There's going to be a lot of times where you can't eat healthy food, where you're going to eat too much salt, where you're going to accidentally have too much sugar. So you want to make sure you're ordering that salad. You want to make sure you're getting as much nutrition in your system as possible. Take a multivitamin on the road. Really do it. It's really so great. Make sure you're getting enough water for sure. Absolutely. Because that's actually something that's difficult to remember. To refill your water bottle if you do reusables. I actually keep a big jug of water in the back of my car. So I just always have some in the back of the car. So I don't have to worry about it too much. Especially when I'm taking off to go on, a few days out, I'll make sure I have a jug of water in the car. So that is something. Make sure you're stopping. One of my best tips is stopping at a grocery store. Like, instead of finding a restaurant that the whole band wants to go to, stop at a grocery store that has everything everybody could possibly ever want. So that people can get some lunch and also snacks for later, and they can just be taken care of for the whole day. So stopping at a grocery store, there's nothing that you could possibly need on tour that you're not going to find at a grocery store. You're going to have a bathroom, usually a gas station next door. It's like, I love the stopping at a grocery store thing. It's just my favorite thing to do on the road. I stop at a lot of grocery stores, and that way you can be like, I think I need an apple right now, and you'll be all set. I remember one time I was on tour with this Irish act. We were touring all over the country, but we were doing a lot of the Midwest and West Coast, and it was just these big long drives. And I remember one day I just had a hankering for spinach, and I was in the car with the sound engineer, and I was like, wait, can we stop at a grocery store? Because I just feel like I really need some spinach right now. And he just got the biggest kick out of that, because I really did stop and pick up some blueberries and some spinach, because that's just what I felt like my body needed. And so that, making sure you get the right amount of food. Just assume, even if you're trying really hard to eat healthy, assume you need to eat healthier the entire time. That's really going to make a difference. Food and water, that's a big thing. So that's the food part. The next part I like to call fun. So make sure that you're getting enough exercise, and try to make this fun as well. I like to, every time we stop at a gas station, because it's just long drives all day, I like to do some gas station yoga, which is just me doing some airplanes, just some random stretches. I don't get down on the ground, obviously, because it's a gas station, but I will go ahead and just totally embarrass myself by doing, some squats or something just right in the gas station parking lot, because I just absolutely need to get the blood back in my legs when I'm driving. I had a long dance career before I retired at the ripe age of 31. And, my left leg, just, if I'm in the car for too long, I have a lot of miles on, I have a lot of extra miles on my legs. So they do funny things. Like, my left leg will just cease to work sometimes. So if I've been in the car for a few hours and haven't moved, and I get out of the car, my left leg just won't function. Like, I'll be limping to get anywhere. It is actually pretty bad. I don't know what's happening. My hip is seizing up or something, but you just shouldn't sit. You just should, like, I'm kind of a road warrior in the car. Like, I really shouldn't get in the car and drive for 4 or 5 straight hours, but I do. I'm just so used to this stuff. I already have my snacks and my water in the car. I don't need to stop, So yeah, make sure you add some fun in. I love going for hikes on the road. Oh my God, that is my favorite thing. That is actually one of the main reasons I started touring by myself, is because I wanted to go hiking on the road, and it's so hard to get a band to do that. My God, yeah, they just like, musicians are very sedentary creatures, and they don't like to get exercise. So, getting everybody to stop for an hour and go on a nature walk, I mean, you'd have to really be with the right band to make that happen on a regular basis. So that's actually why I started touring by myself, so I could stop and go hiking whenever I wanted. And I do now. I love it. I will just stop at any park and have a look around, stop in a national park. But I got that idea because I was just always trapped in the back of a minivan, just like a little Garfield on the window, looking at the national park that was whizzing by that we didn't have time to go for a walk in. So yeah, that is actually a big reason for the Emerald Ray solo show. Was the fact that I wanted to go hiking. No joke. So you want to make sure, yeah, you're moving and having fun moving. So make sure you get in some some dance moves here and there, making sure you're going for walks, which is really fun, and just, yeah, make it fun. If you're the kind of person who likes to stop at the hotel gym, go for it. A lot of people, especially singers who love to run, or just musicians that love to run anyway, love to just throw their running shoes in the suitcase, and when they get somewhere, they just go out and check out where they are. Just check out the surrounding area and just go for a run. So whatever's fun for you, that is getting you some exercise and moving your body around, that's going to have a huge effect on your mood as you're doing all this touring. And so, yeah, make sure you're having fun doing all that. And, one of the last things is make sure you're making friends. So when you go to all of these gigs, and when you're stopping at your homestays and meeting all of these people, make sure you're making friends on the road, or just have that mentality in mind. You know what I mean? Don't think of people as the people you're meeting as your homestay host, your promoter, your fan that's coming to the show. These are all friends that either you've been talking on email and haven't met yet, or if you get yourself in the mode of, these are all friends that you're meeting on your musical journey, then you'll be in a much better mood meeting them, and you will automatically, hopefully, put them in a good mood. Get the positive energy vibes going, because when you're tired, it can be easy to get a little grim and a little grumpy. So if you just want to kind of attack all humans that you meet as if they're going to be your new friends in your life, then that's a good habit to get into. So when you have really tired days, you'll still be able to get to kind of come into the venue, come into the sound check, come into the business meeting, come into the after party with a big smile on your face, because you're expecting good energy. So I like to say you're making friends, and then try to sleep as much as possible. That is not something you're going to have very much control over, but try to get some sleep, and that's kind of it. And if you can do all of those things, if you can, food, fun, and friends are the good things to focus on. And if you can focus on those things, then it's going to make the tour a lot more fun, for sure. And you'll be able to sustain that fun energy all the way through the whole tour. And when you get home, you can just crash. Which is always my favorite part. I love going out, but I love coming home. And especially now as I get older, when I go out and just come back, and it doesn't matter how long I've been gone, I'm just dead for 2 days. And that's all part of the process. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it inspires you to get out on the road and do your own thing. And I will see you in the next video.